What if I told you we are sailing through waters that were once completely impossible to cross? This is not a movie. This is not a prediction. This is happening right now. This is the story of a journey into one of the most remote and dangerous places on Earth. A journey not for adventure but for answers. For centuries, this place was unreachable. Ships were crushed here. Men were stranded here. And winter meant certain death. Today we are sailing through it. This is Antarctica, and it is changing faster than anyone expected. This journey takes us to the most remote wilderness on Earth, not in summer, but in the heart of the Antarctic winter, a season when this continent was once completely locked in ice. The fact that ships can now move through these waters at this time of year is not a victory, it is a warning. The journey begins at the southern tip of Chile in Punta Arenas. For more than 100 years, this city has been the last outpost before Antarctica. Almost everyone who leaves from here does so during the warmer months. This expedition does not. Instead, it sails south into darkness, cold, and uncertainty. The ship cutting through the ocean is one of the most advanced icebreakers ever built, designed not just to survive Antarctica, but to study it. A floating laboratory built to push into ice that once made travel impossible. Soon, open water gives way to the Drake Passage, one of the most dangerous stretches of ocean on the planet. Waves here can reach over 12 meters. Temperatures fall. Ice begins to appear. Every decision matters. At night, the ship moves slowly, scanning constantly for icebergs. Out here, a single mistake can end everything. When the sun finally rises, Antarctica comes into view, a vast frozen continent that looks timeless, but is not. This is one of the fastest changing places on Earth. In the last 3 decades alone, Antarctica has lost an area of sea ice 6 times the size of the United Kingdom. Ice that once reflected sunlight back into space is disappearing, allowing the ocean to absorb more heat. That heat accelerates warming, and warming destabilizes the ice. The change is not theoretical. A massive glacier collapses, sending hundreds of thousands of tons of ice crashing into the sea. Events like this were once rare in winter. Now they are happening in real time. This expedition exists to understand why. Hundreds of miles from the nearest major ship, a small crew works around the clock. On an entire continent larger than Europe, humans are nearly absent. From the air, drones reveal towering ice cliffs and narrow channels filled with life. Penguins gather on drifting ice, seals rest silently. Whales surface beside the ship, reminders of ecosystems that once nearly vanished and now face new threats. As the ice changes, so does everything that depends on it. On land, hidden dangers lie beneath the snow. Crevasses, deep fractures in the ice, are becoming harder to detect as warming temperatures weaken the snow above them. What appears solid can collapse without warning. Measurements show these cracks are widening, growing, becoming more dangerous. Below the surface, an even less visible world is under threat. More than 20,000 species live on the Antarctic seabed, many still unnamed. Icebergs scraping the ocean floor act like underwater wildfires, destroying habitats that take decades to recover. When disturbance happens too often, life cannot return. Scientists are racing to document what exists before it disappears. During winter, Antarctic stations become isolated worlds. Once supply ships leave, there is no way in or out for months. Small communities must rely entirely on preparation, cooperation, and trust. Darkness lasts most of the day. Time stretches. Traditions and routine become essential for survival. As the journey continues, the expedition passes Elephant Island, a place forever linked to survival and failure. More than a century ago, explorers were trapped here when their ship was crushed by ice. Back then, the ice was too strong. Today, the problem is the opposite. Antarctica may seem distant, but its future is tied to everyone's. The ice here influences sea levels, ocean currents, and global temperatures. What happens at the bottom of the world does not stay there. This science is difficult, it is expensive, and it is urgent, because Antarctica is changing now. And the question is no longer if it will transform, but how much will be lost before the world listens. Antarctica is not waiting, the ice is not waiting, and neither is the future.